the holidays in Houston. And in a city this big, it's so diverse. What does that mean?
That means we can get stuff from all over.
And so we're gonna dive into that today. We're gonna talk about wine. We're gonna talk about cocktails. We're gonna talk about snacks. We're gonna talk about desserts. We're gonna talk about mains. You know what? We got a lot to do. Let's get going. So we're gonna throw a party, but we wanna make our lives a little bit easier too. We're gonna be picking up stuff from other restaurants, other places. We're gonna make some things, but I don't feel like you need to do everything on your own. We're gonna use the support system that we have created. Bunch of Eat Like a Local family. Let's talk snacks first, because we wanna have these things laid out when people show up. And this is the easiest way of you not having to prepare a bunch of small hors d'oeuvres for people. You can if you want, but we live in a beautiful city with so much diversity and so many different flavors and so many different textures. Lean into it. First, spring rolls. You wanna talk about some of the most easy things to just have laid out for you? These are from Bodard Bistro. These are the most perfect spring roll you're ever gonna have. So they have two different types. They have one that's a shrimp paste and one that's a pork paste. It's basically a sausage, so it's not called a paste. Unlike most traditional spring rolls that are filled with a bunch of rice noodles and bean sprouts that fall over the place, this is just filled with either shrimp or pork, sausage, a little bit of shredded iceberg, cucumber, carrots, and then inside, they take that egg roll skin, roll it up and fry it crispy. And so you have that beautiful crunch and texture into this bite. Right? Cut them in half, make it a little bit easier. They come with this kind of a spicy egg drop soup, if you will. Also, spring rolls, fried, these little crunchy egg rolls, cold or hot, perfect. Snacks to have around, just go to Masala Munchies, part of the London Sizzler family. They've got all of these homemade snacks. They make them in-house. They do all these little snacks, right? Different blends of puffed rice and nuts and raisins and what have you, but these are delicious. They're like fenugreek crisps, and they're just crispy, delicious, and super addictive. I'm a big proponent of having caviar. We're getting to see so many different types and so many different varietals from all over the world and domestically that it's becoming more and more affordable. This is my favorite brand, is Ultima, and you can pick this up at Fiore's Bottle Shop here in Montrose. This is the Beluga Hybrid. There's a Platinum, there's an Amber, there's even down to Trout Roe. If you want to have a bunch of things laying around, just put it out on ice. And then when we start talking about the accoutrements, the old school way of like the pressed and sieved eggs and the shallots and the little stop with the bellinis. You want to make it easy and delicious? Look, this is going to make your friends smile. I prefer just to put out an array of chips, maybe a little creme fraiche. Put a little creme fraiche on your chip, or just put the caviar straight on the chip. Sour cream and onion, one of my favorites to put it on there. Even down just to like some cheddar and sour cream ruffles, a little caviar right in your mouth. You don't have to be fussy when it comes to things like this. You can just be delicious. Have fun. Maybe go pick up some smoked fish dip at Josephine's. Maybe have a little crock pot of tamales sitting there. Just have food that's from all over the place and enjoy the time with your friends and family. But I do say that you do need a cheese and charcuterie board. And we're gonna head over to Montrose Cheese Wine, talk to Shannon. They can either supply all of the cheese and meats for you, or they can just go ahead and make it for you. I would suggest having them make it for you. That way you're taking one more thing off your plate. As you see right here, we can have a killer spread, and I didn't lift a finger to make anything in this kitchen. Easy.
Hi, I'm Shannon McCracken. I am the general manager and cheese buyer here at Montrose Cheese Wine. And I'm here today to tell you how to build the perfect cheese and charcuterie board for your holiday parties. Building one yourself can be a little bit daunting, so I'm here today to help you get the building blocks to do it yourself. I always like to start with the cheese selections. We focus on small producers, so we really look for things that you can't find anywhere at your local grocery store. So really unique things. I think 3 is a very good number to start with. Here I have a really good selection of 3 different cheeses. We have a soft brie style, a firm Gouda style, and then here I have a semi-firm sheep's milk cheese. So 3 is a good number because that way you get a nice selection of styles, textures, and flavors. So once you've figured out what cheeses you're picking, you might be wondering, how much do I need? Here I have an example of some different sizes. We typically do 4 ounces or 8 ounce pieces, and that just all depends on how many people you have. So if you have a group of 4 to 6 people, I would say 3 4-ounce portions would be really nice. If you're looking at a group of 10 to 15, you wanna get larger pieces. So we're looking at an 8-ounce piece like this. These are all the 8-ounce sizes. And you can also get more. So you don't have to stick to just 3. 5 is a really nice number too, and you can pick some more fun things to go in there. If you are adding meat to your board, I think 2 different types of meat is a good place to start. One of our most popular is a nice prosciutto, very thinly sliced, and then some sort of salami, either a dry salami or like a spicier salami. Just kind of follow your heart and choose whatever you like. Once you've got your cheeses and your meat selected, it's time to start thinking about accoutrement for the board. So fruits, fresh fruits like grapes or apples or pears are really nice to go along with the cheeses. It's a nice palate cleanser in between flavors. I also like a cornichon, a nice pickle, adds like a nice like vinegary crunch. And then nuts are really nice as well. They add a nice texture to the creamy cheeses and you get like a bit of a crunchiness to it, but also they act as a really nice filler for negative space on your board. I love a good jam. If you don't know what people like or you don't know what flavor jam to get, local honey is always a great place to start. But if you want to do a jam, I think a fig jam is really nice. Kind of goes good with everything. It's very festive. If you are short on time, don't worry, we have you covered. We do catering here at Montrose Cheese and Wine. We just require 24 hours notice. We've got a good example of one of our cheese boxes here. We can also build a custom board of your choosing. And if you're looking for the perfect wine to pair with your cheese board, we're here to help you with that too. Happy holidays, and we look forward to seeing you here at Montrose Cheese and Wine.
You're gonna need drinks for all this. Up next, we're gonna talk wine, cocktails, and mocktails. But before we go to break, some of our Eat Like a Local family is gonna share some of their favorite holiday dishes.
Traditionally, we grew up eating pozole. Come Christmas, that was a dish that my mom prepared. A whole family meeting at mom's house for Christmas. And
that meal just represents a family coming together. When you smell it and you know it's coming, it just feels great when you're able to pull your family together, have those story times, those moments. And when they're making it and you know that smell, you get that feeling.
Mom did the best. They're always the best. She just turned 95, so she kind of threw that ring to somebody else, but they do real close to Mom.
I have to say, my mom makes a good green pozole. I have to throw Mom in there. Mom, she
from Grandma, so.
It's cool to see the different tias that get involved in the green pozole battle. Nobody's gonna touch Grandma's pozole, right? But it's just, I think, the tradition of getting us all together, I think is the most important.
And I would like to wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Stay close to your family.
How's it going? I'm Chef Rafi Nasser from Craft Pita. Food that reminds me of the holidays. For me, it is definitely a Lebanese classic called riz ajesh, or Lebanese chicken and rice. Our Lebanese rice has these warm spices that are really traditional in American holiday season: clove, allspice, cinnamon, and it's topped with shredded rotisserie chicken and covered with a ton of almonds and pine nuts, and it's just warm and inviting and kind of universal goodness. Everybody really likes it, and we've been serving it at our holiday season since before I could remember, and definitely for me, it's a childhood favorite and half the reason why we started Craft Pita.
We're talking holidays, and we cannot have this conversation without talking about wine. So we're at Houston Wine Merchant. We're gonna talk to Antonio. This store is awesome. There's so many killer things just laying around. This is about building relationships with your wine purveyors, just as if you would your fishmongers or your butcher. You need to have that with your wine guys too. Let's go talk to him. Good friend of mine. What's happening, baby?
Nothing much. How are you?
How are you?
Welcome.
Thank you. Always good to see you. Like the scarf, very holiday.
Thank you.
Which is apropos for what we're doing. So we're gonna pick out some holiday wines. I need stuff for like a party, gifting, or just relaxing at the house.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna pick some stuff. You gonna pick some stuff?
Okay, let's do it.
talk about it.
All right,
All right,
let's go.
Sweet. All right. So it's like we start talking about wines. Like you've got the glassware, you've got the decanters. When do I decant? And what do I decant?
So you're decanting either young wines that you're opening, frankly, too soon that need a little bit more air, or you're decanting older wine to pull it off the sediment so you're not getting it in your glass.
Yeah. So it's kind of up to you, really.
Exactly.
I mean,
if you like the way the wine is, when you pull the cork, go for it. If you think it needs a little more time open, you can decant it and give it some time, or maybe right when you sit down, decant it and give it a little bit extra air.
you guys also have the Corbin, which allows you to just put a needle down into the bottle and pull glasses, and then it comes out, the cork seals back up, so your
Yes.
wine inside is still perfect. Like you may just want a nightcap, but you don't want to open something.
Or you want white, somebody else wants red, you can both have a little bit.
Decanters, Corbins, lots of cool stuff. The more time I spend in here, the trouble I get. This is a haul. What'd you go with?
So I went with a number of things, kind of working away through a meal. My favorite non-vintage Brut Rosé from Via Carte Samon. I've been obsessed with this for years and years,
So
and
good.
for many years not available in Texas. Also, I thought fantastic rosé because seafood is at its prime in the winter, and I thought rosé would
Beautiful
be lovely.
stuff right now.
Absolutely. We also have a library release of Cru Beaujolais from Alex Foillard. He is the son of Jean Foillard, one of the original members of the Gang of Four, instrumental people in Beaujolais and the natural wine movement. Quintarelli Rosso de Beppi. This is effectively a single vineyard Valpolicella.
You want that like Northern Italian big style red Amarone, but not quite there.
Yeah, but not quite all the way.
This is Chitarelli.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Let's
be honest.
This is everything I want in Amarone.
You just see the Chitarelli label because it's so unique.
Yes.
You see anything like that, just get it.
And then for dessert, I thought Côte de Lion, French Loire Valley, Chenin Blanc, made of botrytis like Sauterne. This producer is super famous and has a lot of older wines available. And what's funny is this is the youngest wine I've seen from them, and it's 96.
Nice. And you don't ever see this
No,
anywhere.
I don't think I've seen it in over a decade. So.
You're gonna have to set that aside for me. And then you threw this in. What?
Yeah,
you know.
well, because I like to say it's my birthday. What'd you get me?
Yeah.
Chartreuse VEP Yellow. Chartreuse is an herbal digestif made by monks. It is a secret recipe that only 3 people in the world know the entire recipe. It's been incredibly hard to get since the beginning of the pandemic. The monks realized they were spending too much time doing non-monkly things, and so they decided they would cut production, and the VEP is the extra aged chartreuse. It is still incredibly hard to get.
Yeah.
We're lucky to have a little bit of these for the holiday.
And this is what you'll normally see. Like this is the green. There's a yellow too, this is the yellow. So this is the kind of the baseline chartreuse. And this is the very extra special.
Correct.
Someone that you love that says, "Hey, I really love chartreuse."
This
you
would be
love them. This is the
An
greatest gift
extra
you can give.
special thing for them.
Yeah, lots of high fives after that. You can put this into a cocktail, but
Yeah, absolutely.
I would also just a neat after dinner or on a rock or a piece of ice, whatever.
When it's the winter season, you've had a lot of braised meats and heavy foods. It's the perfect thing to kind of settle the stomach and cut back through some of the richness and end up meal digestif.
You went all European. I kind of stayed in the U.S. except for here, but this is just, this is a Vacheron Sancerre Sauvignon Blanc, but I would say that you guys have an amazing selection of large format bottles.
Absolutely.
You show up to a party with one of these, falling out, ready to go.
You'll meet everybody.
Yeah, everybody wants to know you at that point. I'm gonna go here next. North Valley, Chardonnay from Oregon. I feel like what Oregon Chard has become in the past 10 years is some of the cleanest form and most delicious racy Chardonnays that are out there. And then Hirsch, you and I both have a love affair with the winery, the humans behind it. One of the greatest, I think, vineyard sites in America. This is on the very western part of the Sonoma coast. And this is the West Ridge, which is traditionally just a restaurant exclusive and wine club exclusive. And you have it here.
A little bit.
My wife and I are members of the wine club, and this is one of her favorites. You have a large selection of what we call library selections.
Yes.
Which is something that they have aged at the winery and released to here.
Hasn't been sitting in a warehouse somewhere. Yeah.
This is from the winery specific.
Directly.
This is the Thomas Fogarty Santa Cruz Cabernet, 2015 vintage.
Yes.
Awesome. Also, probably the only place outside of California that has this.
As far as I know.
Yeah. Heights, I just love the Martha's Vineyard 2017 vintage, like one of the more iconic vineyard sites in Napa Valley. And then you guys always have really fantastic barrel picks. And when we start talking about, you know, getting a present for somebody, when it comes to like a bottle of bourbon, you guys are picking single barrels.
Correct.
Which traditionally, so Peerless this is your single barrel, one of them. You're getting a single version of a barrel. And you get to pick probably from 3 or 5 different barrel picks, and this is the one that you guys chose. You guys have amazing spirit selection here as well. So this is a cut above Mezcal, which is a non-alcoholic, zero-proof spirit. Delicious in cocktails.
Absolutely.
You should have this at every little event that you're having, because there's a lot of people that are on the non-alcoholic side these days, and that's great.
It's a great one-to-one substitution for spirits in a cocktail.
There you go. Non-alcoholic ranch waters. Who'd have thunk it? And then you got chartreuse. I got Amaro. You know, and Montenegro, a little bit more on the sweeter, easier side, and then Braulio. If you're feeling a little bitter and you need that big herb.
Finish the meal or begin.
Yeah, you know what? One of the greatest cocktails that never gets produced? A Montenegro Spritz.
Really?
I love replacing Campari or Aperol with Montenegro.
Because I do it in sours.
I love a Spritz with it. It's great. Thanks for hanging out.
Good to see you.
Happy holidays. Got my ambrosia. Now it's time to head back to the house. We got stuff to do. See you there. All right, so we've talked wine with Antonio. Now we're gonna head over to Winnie's, where they have this beautiful holiday pop-up that they do every year. Justin's gonna show us how to batch cocktails. It's the easy way to get through this. You don't wanna sit and make cocktails all night for everybody. Look, you're basically just gonna produce 1 or 2 drinks that are kind of themed for what you're gonna do. And then you can have base spirits laying around that can be just for, here's this and a mixer, and let your guests do that, quite frankly. You got stuff to do, all right? I gotta get to cooking. I got people coming.
Welcome to Miracle at Winnie's. My name is Justin Ware. I'm the operations director for Johnny's Goldbrick, Winnie's, and then Starduster. We'll be making some holiday cocktails for we can get them in our bars or so you can make them at home. So today we'll be making Rudolph's Red Nose. This is going to be one of our cocktails we feature on our holiday menu at Starduster, as well as eggnog, classic for the holidays. So we're going to be starting off with the Rudolph's Red Nose. We chose this cocktail, actually both of these cocktails, because nobody wants to be making drinks all night while you're entertaining family and friends. So you can batch these out in large portions. We can do them as alcoholic or non-alcoholic. So that way, if you like to imbibe, you're more than welcome to by adding the booze, or you can start them without so everybody can enjoy. So we're going to start with the Rudolph's Red Nose. This cocktail is going to be one that has very fall spices. So we're starting with some apple cider. We also have a spiced orange tea syrup. This is going to be a spiced orange syrup you can get from a local grocery store as well, made into a simple syrup. Just 2 parts sugar to 1 part water with some tea bags according to the directions on the bag. We really like this cocktail with a blend of spirits. So we're actually going to be doing Applejack. Applejack is going to be a brandy that is made from apples. One of the first spirits that was made in the United States, followed by some white rum. We like this white rum because it has a little bit of Jamaican rum in there, so it adds a little bit of funkiness, but it has a big portion of Barbados, which is also very clean and very easy. And since we're in the bar, we'll be shaking this one up, but the way that you would make this ahead of time would be adding a little bit of water to it and chilling it overnight. And we are doing ours in a very fun Rudolph glass, but you're welcome to put this in any glass you would like. Something around the 10 ounces would be the way to go if you have anything around that at home. And we are garnishing this one with a Honeycrisp apple fan. So the ingredients in this cocktail are going to be 1 ounce of the apple brandy, 1 ounce of the white rum, 1 ounce of fresh lemon juice. You can also buy pre-juiced lemon juice from the store. Don't use the pasteurized on-the-shelf stuff, not as good. Then it's 3/4 ounce of the orange syrup, and then 3/4 ounce of the apple cider. Shaken, poured over, and if you were making this in a batch at home, you would add 1.5 ounces of water, chill thoroughly overnight, and then serve by giving it a quick shake. So the next cocktail we're going to be making is the Jingle Balls Nog. This one is going to be available at Winnie's and Johnny's for the Miracle Pop-Up. This one we normally make in much larger batches, and we actually suggest you make it in larger batches. It makes it a lot easier for you. This one is going to be made with 1 whole egg, as well as 6 teaspoons of white granulated sugar. And then we're going to be putting in 1/8 of a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then 1/8 of a teaspoon of almond extract, We will then be adding in 2 ounces of almond milk. You can substitute this with regular milk if you like. We have 1.5 ounces of heavy cream, so we gotta add that luxurious cream, because what's the holidays without a little bit of heavy cream? And then for the alcohol. Now, if you want this alcohol-free, stop here, go ahead and put it on blend, and you'll be able to make this cocktail non-alcoholic. But we like the booze here, so we're gonna be putting in 1/2 ounce of cognac, and then 3/4 ounces of cream sherry. A couple of big grinds of fresh nutmeg. It's really important to do the fresh nutmeg. Fresh nutmeg has a lot more flavor and a lot more aromatics. The ground nutmeg is fine. The pre-ground stuff is fine, but you'll notice a difference if you try it fresh. Start your blender on low, just to get everything mixing, incorporate that sugar with the egg, and then we'll slowly bring that up. And then as the speed comes up, it's actually starting to whip everything together. It's emulsifying the egg into the cream, and it becomes all one cocktail. Bring it up just a little bit, and that is it. And this cocktail is now done. You are welcome to store this in however you see. Hold it overnight is what I would suggest. It's gonna be a 6-ounce pour here, and this cocktail makes just a little bit extra, so you can have one for a friend. And then the finishing touches on this one, it's a little bit of more fresh ground nutmeg. So both these cocktails you can make individually, like I have here, or you can scale them up. Just take the number of drinks that you would like and multiply it by the ingredients that we have given here, and then that'll scale it up to what you like. We wish you all a happy holidays. Please drink responsibly and be safe out there.
So up next, we're gonna go talk to Elliot Wood, who was just recognized by the Michelin Guide for Service Award. He's gonna give us tips about how to make sure your guests have a great experience. Let's get going. This is gonna be fun.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Chef Okbaya Mosu. I'm the owner, block captain, executive chef here at Chop and Block. Man, the holiday is my favorite time of the year, and when you catch me on the holidays, you already know I'm gonna be looking for a plate of authentic buka stew. You know, the red stew with the iru and the palm oil, the fermented locust beans, the beef, the short rib, the whole nine. Growing up, that was what I always ventured towards. So when I think about that holiday meal, the quintessential experience, whatever else we have accompany it, you always gotta have that classic red stew, or my take, the buka stew. We make sure we have that on the menu, but I always gotta give a shout outs to one of the other places I love to venture to, especially if I wanna eat my stew with some fufu, I gotta go to Famous Princess Kitchen in Cyprus. She is definitely a standout at making that dish.
All right, we're talking holidays at home. You need to have a list or a guide to help you through things. I write a prep list. I write it big so that I can see it, and every time I walk through this kitchen, it's there, and I'm like, don't forget that. Don't forget this. Day by day, dish by dish, when I need to order it, when I need to pick it up, when I need to cook it. The prior week, I need to order things, right? If I'm shipping my beef in from 44, if I'm getting pies, if I'm calling restaurants, they're gonna have cutoff dates, so be aware of those. Week of, pick up the wine on Monday. You don't need to worry about it, it's not going bad. Get your caviar, get all your non-perishable things. Wednesday, make sure everything's secured. If you need to thaw it, make sure it's thawed. Thursday, you can pick up your pies, pick up your cheese, pick up all your snacks, pick up everything. Then it's party day, let's go. You can't win without having a game plan. And having a perfect game plan, we need to talk to the right people. We're gonna go over to Credence and talk to Elliot Wood, who just was recognized by the Michelin Guide for his service award. He's gonna talk about how to make sure your guests have a great experience. All right, I got my list. We're gonna talk to Elliot. Let's get going.
I'm Elliot Wood, the General Manager of Credence and Sidebar here in Houston, Texas. Creating guest experiences here at Credence is rooted in creating memories that last a lifetime. We believe in one-size-fits-one crafted experiences. Everybody has that one experience that was the best hospitality they've ever had, the best restaurant, whatever it may be. And we have the opportunity to be that for somebody every time they come in our doors, with every guest, every dish, every plate. And that's an amazing opportunity. So creating hospitality at home, a few tips and pointers that you could take from what we do here at Credence. First off, that principle that I referenced earlier, one-size-fits-one hospitality. Can you make it specific to the guest that you have at your event instead of global for anybody that may come in? Find out what it is that they like in particular. Maybe it's a certain sparkling wine, and you could have that there to surprise them. Another really good tip is to focus on being present in the moment. If you're hosting the event, it's common to be distracted by the tasks of hosting, whether it's dishes, plating, folding napkins. But remember, your guests are there to have an experience, so pause, make eye contact, and listen to them. And lastly, one thing that you can finish with is what we call surprise and delight. Give them something unexpected and lean into that one-size-fits-one. Perhaps there's an old family recipe that is cherished, that's been handed down through the generations, and you could surprise them with that dish at the end and create little pieces of the experience that they will remember and take with them after they leave. So when it comes time to end the evening, perhaps it's a later night and you don't want to stay up as late as your guests. So what's next? I would suggest perhaps a scheduled event after it's hosted at your home. Even if you're not attending. So you could share with the guest, even if it's a surprise, that they're expected at the local watering hole, a table for 12. We invite you to have a good time there. And also remember, the holidays can be a stressful time of year. It's important to slow down and be mindful of what you're thankful for and the family and friends that you have around you. But we wish you happy holidays. Have a wonderful time.
So a dish that we like to eat in the holidays, a staple in our family is samosas, which is like an Indian empanada. We make them here and they're filled with potatoes and different spices. I bring samosas everywhere I go. When I'm going to a holiday party, a Friendsgiving, Christmas party, because people like it. So you can get samosas at a few places. A lot of grocery stores have them too. They have them frozen. You can always take them home, fry them or bake them. But we do sell them fresh here at Raja Sweets. The holidays, I encourage people to step outside your comfort zone. Houston is so culturally diverse and there's food from all around the world. It's available, so why not try it? Step away from the chain restaurants and try something new.
During this time for the holiday, a lot of family join together in family day. We prepare a very special Pacific lobster for the holiday occasion. I try to let my customer have a chance to try the lobster. And also giant Norway king crab for the Thanksgiving and also for the Christmas.
For me, my childhood, when it's holiday time, we actually go eat dim sum because it's like a large gathering of people. You know, you can share the dishes. When we were young, we used to go to one on Bel Air. It used to be called Golden Palace. So that's my childhood memories for holidays.
So now it's time for the main event. We're talking about the big showstopper, whatever that may be. Think about the sourcing. Beef, I'm going to talk about. Lamb, Phoenicia. Seafood, look at Airline Seafood, look at Blue Horizon, Central Market. Those all carry really good seafood items. Or head down to Katie's. If you got an afternoon, head down to Katie's, get what you need. Pork, try and hit up Urban Harvest Farmers Market. They have some really good pork producers and beef producers. But for beef specifically, because that's what we're going to talk about, generally two cuts are kind of what people think of this time of year. Prime rib and or tenderloins. I don't really do a whole lot with tenderloin. I don't really like where it sits on the animal, so it's not my favorite cut. I know that's a hot take for most people. So let's focus on the ribeye. This is a 3-bone prime rib, and this is all 44 Farms. I am a big lover and believer of this brand right here. Been using it in the restaurants for way over a decade. And we've kind of just grown together, and now they do a lot of direct to consumer, which makes it really easy for you guys to get your hands on it, when before there was no retail aspect for this, so now you can. So this is a 3-bone prime rib. This is a daunting task, cooking this whole prime rib. They made it really easy. This is already a smoked prime rib. Comes to you frozen, thaw it out. You can just put in a 250-degree oven. You want to get this to about 140 degrees. And tools like this are perfect. This is a meter thermometer. Insert it directly into here and forget about it. It has an app that goes to your phone, so it tells you when it's done. It charges itself inside of this case. Perfect. Another little good Christmas gift for all the cooks that you know. Now, we're gonna cook a ribeye. This is a tomahawk or a long bone ribeye. Guess what? Same cut. Comes right off of this. If we remove the bone, it's still a prime rib, but then we can cut it down into ribeyes, right? And when we start talking about prime beef, the intermuscular fat of this is what we're looking for. Look at this guy right here. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Now, things I need to cook a ribeye. We're gonna start cooking it in some tallow. We're gonna add some garlic cloves and some thyme, butter. We're gonna season it with salt and pepper. I like to add more pepper than you probably should. A lot of cooks will tell you, you can't put pepper on and then cook the steak because it'll get bitter. Then you have a really good palate if you can tell that. But I like the crust and the texture that it brings. And this, if I were to have a gift guide, this would be on it. This is a pepper cannon. Look at this. You can set the grind, but when we start talking about, tell me you can get more pepper out of your normal pepper grinder. These things are amazing. Then spoons. I see a lot of people on the internet basting with these little guys. That gets you nowhere. Buy yourself a Kunz spoon, K-U-N-Z. It's what the cooks use. You'll be cool, and you should have one. Let's go ahead, get this steak going. I've let this thing sit out for a little bit so it tempers. I've got a handy cast iron pan already over here getting hot. I'm all about the sear. I like the crust. I like the texture of the salt and pepper. I go aggressive when it comes to seasoning. What it doesn't need, it will leave in the pan. All this salt will not stay on this steak. It will fall off. It will only keep what it needs, right? And when I say I like the pepper, this is what I'm talking about. I want to develop this crust, and that's how we're gonna do it. This is all important. Have your stuff ready to go. This is what's gonna happen here. We've got our pan. It's getting hot. It's been heating for a little bit. See that? Ready to go. I've got it on low. Now, we just have a normal towel. I take it and I fold it one time, and then I fold it over, because what we're gonna do is when we start to sear this steak, we're then gonna pop this thing up a little bit and we're gonna baste. I'm gonna show you how to do that. Super easy. So I'm gonna turn this up just a tad. I'm gonna take some of this tallow, which is just the rendered beef fat, and we're gonna sear this steak in tallow. This is where this becomes super important. You gotta turn this thing up. Now when we set this steak in, away from you, not towards you, now that it's in the pan, just let it do its job. It needs to do a proper Maillard reaction, which means it needs to start to sear. It needs to start to cook all that protein. It needs to build that crust and that seasoning. If we start flipping, we're over. You're gonna get gray, that salt's gonna come off, the crust isn't gonna form. When I do flip it, we're gonna let it sit again. And then we've got this fresh thyme that I just cut out of the garden, some garlic cloves, and some butter. And we're gonna throw all of that into the pan, and we're gonna baste it. Just waiting. Still waiting. The flame is still like medium low, right? Because we've had this pan sitting on here for a good 20 minutes at that temperature, just getting warm. I don't need to have it blazing, ripping hot. See that? That's the crust that we want to start to build on. Nobody ever wants to eat a gray steak. Same thing as when I laid it into the pan. We're gonna be careful again, right? Away from us. See this crust develop? That's what we want. And now when we get into the basting aspect here in a minute, what we're gonna do is, that's when we can cook all of the sides. And we can start to develop this basis of flavor that we want. Now, when we talk about the towel, if there is any ounce of moisture in that towel, don't use it. Because basically that is a conductor for steam, which is gonna conduct burns. If you're doing this for a bunch of people, you can put 3-4 steaks in there, but then you're gonna have to pull them out and baste them separately. All right, butter. Yeah, I know it's a lot. Now, be careful when you throw these in, because it's gonna crackle. Garlic cloves. I'm gonna get into the basting aspect, and like I said, this is when you gotta be careful. I take this, put it here, hold it down, and see how that butter starts to come right in here? And this is where we start to baste. See why I say this spoon is way better than your normal little teaspoon? Now this is just a technique. You can do this for fish, you can do this for pork, lamb, whatever you want. But see how this side part on that sear, we weren't getting that, but now we can. People like to use rosemary this time of year. I think it has too much of that evergreen flavor, so it's not my favorite. Thyme is always my jam. You can put shallots in here, garlic, whatever you want. But see, as it does this bubbling cooking of the meat on here, it will do the same to your hand. So please, just like make sure you're very careful. And it takes practice. Now I can kind of feel that with my spoon and know that I'm really kind of where I want to be at as far as temperature goes. All right, that's a good medium rare. The general thought is I gotta cut this, I want a hot steak, let's go. No, 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 no. We wanna let it rest. What does that mean? Now you're letting the protein kind of reabsorb that moisture. When you see people do this and the juices are everywhere, okay, you know where they're not? They're not inside of that meat. So we're gonna let this rest for like 3 minutes. All right, so our ribeye is ready to slice. We've let it rest for like 4 minutes. Now this is the important thing, right? So the ribeye is cut into 2 pieces for the most part. You've got the eye of the ribeye, and then there's intermuscular fat, and then the spinalis. This right here, if we're sitting together and we share a ribeye, I'm going for this. This is the most delicious, moist part of the ribeye. All right, which is right here. All right, you ready? We got our knives from Serenity Knives. These guys are awesome, they're up in the Heights. I'm just gonna cut this thing, slice it straight through. That's pretty perfect. You do whatever sides you want, stuffings, whatever your family tradition is, but now we're gonna talk desserts. I'm gonna eat this first.
One dish that definitely reminds me of the holidays is a dish called nihari. Historically, nihari was an Indian dish, but it was adapted by Pakistan primarily. So what my mom does is make a massive pot of nihari, and it's stewed for many, many hours. Either we'll have people over, or she'll put it into different to-go boxes and give it to all my aunts, uncles. When the holidays come around, you just really crave that bowl of nihari. I mean, that is one dish that really comes to mind when I think of the holidays. Some of the best places to get nihari in town, that's not my mom's, is a place on Highway 6 called Javed Nihari. It's very, very good, tastes very, very authentic. Another place is Aga's. Yeah, definitely get out there, try something new, try some nihari, try some biryani, or heck, try anything else, but try something new.
So it's not a holiday without desserts, right? So we live in such a beautiful city where you can go and get desserts from all cultures, whatever you feel like. Over here, little Raja Sweets. This is just beautiful. So this is from Raja Sweets, all different textures, all different flavors. Little milk powder and caramelized sugars, and you just can't go wrong with like kulfi. Look at these things. Just delicious texture. Great flavor. Raja Sweets has been doing this since the 70s, and they do it perfectly. Support it, get it. El Bolillo with some conchas. Apparently these are stuffed with chocolate. I'm gonna cut into one and check it out. So light. Oh yeah. That is it right there. Brennan's, you can't go wrong with just platters of pralines, but you know what you can do? Send them to your friends and family. Like, these are perfect gifts. Super creamy, just lots of heavy cream, pecans, and sugar. That's it. The amount of these that I've made in my life, I still like them. Susie's Bake Shop for baklavas, all different types. Make great gifts, make great party favors. Some Three Brothers Bakery. I tried doing this with my niece and nephew a couple years ago, and I made the Christmas cookies and got all the icings. And look, they go ahead and have it all ready for you, and you want to talk about a thoughtful gift for your guests at your party, let them have fun with their kids. Also, they've got these beautiful gingerbread houses. You can make them. I'm not in for that. I'm gonna buy one. That's the way to go. Now, if you're gonna have this at your house, I'm also gonna show you how to make bananas Foster. We've talked about desserts that you can purchase. Now I'm gonna give you one that's super easy, and people love it, and it's just fun, and it's kind of visual, but certain things you gotta know. We're gonna make bananas Fosters. Brennan's Classic, created in New Orleans because there was such a surplus of bananas. They needed to get rid of them, and this is a perfect way to do it. So we've got just a few ingredients, right? Bananas, which I've cut in half, and then in half, right? So lengthways and in half. Butter, brown sugar, rum, you can use whatever you got. Light rum, I don't have light rum laid around, so we're gonna do it with a little bit of aged rum and cinnamon, and then vanilla ice cream. Super easy. So we've got our pan getting warm over here. We're gonna add some butter and brown sugar. I'm gonna take everything over. All right, a little bit of butter. Now this is for 2. Traditionally it's like 1 banana per person, but for parties, you would think probably a half a banana per person is probably about right. All right, brown sugar, and we're just gonna kind of bring this together and let it melt together. All right, I like to give it just a little bit of, just to get it going. All right, so basically what we're making is just like a little caramel sauce, if you will. All right, we're gonna cook the bananas in it and let it get flavored that way. Bananas straight in. We're just gonna let the bananas do their thing. This is where you need to control your flame, don't let it control you. I've made this dish, oh boy, more times than I care to actually know. So we're just gonna let this come together. You can use light brown sugar, you can use dark brown sugar. I like dark brown sugar. Classically it's light, but we don't want to overcook the bananas. I've seen some, like Marcelino, one of the captains that's been at Brennan's for over 50 years, he'll kind of tap through the banana just to let that banana flavor kind of escape. But you don't want to overcook them because we still have to add the rum and glaze it off, all right? It's coming together really nicely. Here's where you need to be a little bit careful. Take it away from the flame. Now we're using rum, so it's gonna flame. All right. Cinnamon. Now once the flame is gone, you've already cooked off all the alcohol, so you're done. All right, we've got the cinnamon, the brown sugar, the sauce has become more prevalent, more so than it was before, because we added that liquid to it. All right, now pro move, if you're gonna be making this for some people, go ahead and ball the ice cream up. Take like a cookie sheet and wrap it in plastic wrap. Go ahead and ball those up, slide it right back in the freezer. That way you don't have to do it when it comes time. All right, going back over here. Perfectly cooked. 1, 2, there we go. And then this is the best part, right? The sauce. This is a fan favorite for all. Kids, adults, your grandparents, your neighbor down the street that doesn't like anything, they'll like this, guaranteed. The pickiest person you know will love Bananas Foster. That, a little bit of this. Yeah, that is just perfect, really perfect. If you don't want to do any of this, I get it, totally get it. Let's talk about places that you can go on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, and not do any of this. That's next. Before we go to break, here's my guide for pie. I love pie. Cake is great, but pie is perfect. All of this I know can be a lot, but you can get all of this online. We're gonna go ahead and put it on the Eat Like a Local section right down here, up here, somewhere in here is where the graphic will be. But Don't feel like you have to write it down right now. Everything's available for you on the web.
So every year for holidays, we're usually eating a Vietnamese food, specifically bún riêu. It's essentially tomato-based soup with crab. I'm learning to make it properly, but it's definitely something my dad and my mom make. My dad makes 90% of it, and then my mom makes the other 10%. It takes about 2 days to make, so I'm not sure if it's necessarily only the taste, but also the effort that we put into it cooking together. The food is just a medium or a vessel to eat and get together, and spending that quality time with your friends and family and having a way to reset yourself and just appreciating the time you have.
So we walked through pretty much how to throw this party. Get some help from the restaurants that you love and know. That's what makes this so beautiful, is that you can bring things in from everywhere. People are just like, wow, I never had this, or wow, this is amazing. You've seen it on the show, you know it. But if you don't feel like doing any of it, make a reservation, call a place, go visit your local places. Here's a list of some places that are open. Take your pick. Give them a call. Go support the local people. All right? Be nice, be courteous. Staff's working hard on those days to make sure that you have a great family environment. All right? Happy holidays. Enjoy it, all right? What's next? Good evening. Welcome to my home. Let me put on my slippers. Easter special. Super Bowl special. Bananas Foster special. I don't know.